Well, good evening from the United of Kingdom, the currently United Kingdom. Welcome to the Geeknd Live. I don't know if the titles played on my end. There was just a blank screen. So hopefully you saw some titles because we all love some titles. And hopefully you can hear me. Just checking the chat. I think people can. Sidge is in the house, the chat house, and he can definitely see me. Hopefully he can hear me as well from a certain point of view. At least not everybody would consider that a good thing. My voice in your ears. But welcome once again. Let me see who we have here so far. Glenn is here. Hello, Glenn. Welcome. Peter's here. It's quiet. It was quiet. Is it quiet because my mic's not working? Or is it quiet because the chat was just quiet because I was late. I was late to the stream, but hopefully things will get louder. Dale's here. Dale, make some noise. You make some noise. Yeah, all these messages I'm reading now came before I posted this. Apologizing for my lack of punctuality. Right, who else have we got? We've got Simon D in the house as well. And Sidge, as I mentioned, is here. So that is good to see. So tonight in this, the Pridonian, my friend is here. I'm having a good week. Yeah, thank you. I hope you are too. And I'm glad you enjoyed the Lightspeed tonight teaser I showed you on Patreon. Yeah, I don't know what I've made there, but everybody's going to find out quite soon, and maybe together we can work out what I've actually done with this new series, Lightspeed, tonight. Mr. J86 is here as well. Did I hear the Book of Boba Fett? Book of Boba has got delayed. I didn't hear that. Is that true? You know, like I am actually, believe it or not, I'm a trained journalist and with a history of working for the BBC, which is like, for those who aren't from the UK, it's supposed to be an impartial public service broadcaster. And when you see a breaking news story, particularly in the age of the internet, you always have to get two sources, sometimes free, to verify that it's true before you broadcast it. So that's why the BBC is sometimes slower than others. So unfortunately, Mr. J86, I can't just take your word for it. I'm going to have to hear this from at least one other person, possibly two other people, before I can. I mean, I do believe you. I don't think you'd make this up. We go way back on this channel together, don't we? But perhaps my guests might know, because I've got some guests tonight joining us. Chad Campbell's in the house as well. I am not too cold tonight, Peter. Thank you. The shed is at a moderate temperature. I've got 3 layers on, so actually 1 layer more than this time last week. So we're a little way off the naked broadcast. Tristan's here as well. Anyway, that's Glenn saying hi to Tristan. Click the wrong message, didn't I? There's Tristan saying hi before Glenn said hi back to Tristan. Anyway, did I mention that we have some guests? I'm going to bring them in now. They are from the Star Wars Sessions podcast out of the UK. They've been on the channel once before. During The Mandalorian, they joined me for one of the sort of longer kind of debrief review discussion type videos that I was putting out there. And this is the first time they've joined me live. Actually, only the second time I've had live guests on, after Ken Napzok joined the show sometime before Christmas, I think it was. So I'm going to bring them in. Got to remember how to do this. This is Matt from Star Wars Sessions. And this is Luke from Star Wars Sessions.
Hello there.
Thank you for joining me, both of you. And everybody in the chat, keep your messages coming in. We, as the thumbnail and title suggests, because we do not clickbait here, we are going to be talking about the Kenobi casting news and also the Bad Batch trailer. And perhaps, Mr. J86, news to me at least, of the Book of Boba being delayed. So keep your comments, theories, ideas, expectations for what we've learned in regards to the Kenobi series and what we've seen with the Bad Batch trailer. Keep it all coming in the chat. If you're watching in the future, if you're a time traveler, then stick it in the comments. And I do tend to reply to almost all of them. But I will be coming over to the chat throughout the next who knows how long. I know Matt and Luke, we've got till about 6:45 p.m. UK time, so we'll get cracking. And if we've got more discussion in the chat, I will stay on a bit longer. But I can see Chad the stopwatch Campbell is in the house. So, guys, Chad tries to keep me to time each week. He's failed each and every week.
Come on,
really, we know that's not Chad's fault. It's entirely my fault. But I used to say, let's do a 30-minute show. Surely that's enough of my face and my voice. But we tend to get closer to the hour mark. But anyway, part of that is because I spend the first 6.5 minutes just rambling with no particular place to go. But we do have a particular place to go, and that is to talk about Kenobi and also the Bad Batch. But first of all, guys, I've linked to your YouTube channel. I mean, you're a podcast, first and foremost, but of course, you've took the plunge onto YouTube as well, where you've been uploading some of your podcast material. So I've linked to that at the top of the chat. So if you want to go and check out Star Wars Sessions, give them a sub on YouTube. It's pinned at the top of the chat, the live chat. Also in the video description, you'll find a link to the website and also some of your social medias as well. But before we get going, do you want to just there's a lot of Star Wars podcasts out there. What makes Star Wars Sessions so great? Tell us.
Well, it's the mix of the spice, the Kessel spice, the Bants, and that we're actually from the UK. I think that resonates with a lot of Brits. But no, Matt and I have a really organic story. We met on a forum. And it turned out that we worked a few meters away from each other. No joke. Like I was in this office building and he was in this office building, and there was a cafe bang in the middle, and we would go meet each other and talk about Star Wars, and it just became a podcast. So it's really organic. And I think that comes across. Plus we do cool topics. We do news, but we also do deep dives. Like the other week we did a show on the Japanese influences on The Last Jedi. So that was good fun. Would you say that's fair to say, Matty boy?
I think you would be right, mate. We like each other, which helps an awful lot. So that comes across. Plus, we love Star Wars, and we just want to have a bit of fun. I'm sure all podcasts say that, but we generally just want to have a bit of fun, talk Star Wars, get everyone involved, and see where it takes us. We're 108 episodes deep now, so we don't have any plans on stopping. And as long as there's a Stangram around, we'll always be around to entertain. We love
beautiful. No, you do a great job. And you are doing it from the UK. You are both Brits, but you do have a like this channel as well, a global audience, and therefore slant on things as well. And just hearing about how you guys started the podcast has made me all nostalgic. Back in a forgotten time when people worked in offices and actually met each other.
We didn't have a mask or anything. It was mental.
Wow, those were the days. Right. So thank you again for joining. And just a reminder that I've linked to the guys in the video description and the top of the chat to their YouTube channel as well. So let's talk about this Kenobi casting story. Yes. I am just, extending, the gaps between my words because I'm trying to bring up the relevant screen. There we go. I know. Welcome to the Geeknd Live. Smooth. Okay, so this was, I mean, obviously the Obi-Wan Kenobi series coming to Disney Plus is not a surprise. It's been speculated and has also been confirmed now for quite some time. But, with this sort of thing, especially with Star Wars, you think back to The Mandalorian season 2 in terms of rumors of cameos and castings, particularly for like Ahsoka and the Bo-Katan rumors. They were rumors pretty much until they were confirmed. And by confirmed, it was you seeing them there in the episode, right?
Yeah.
Nothing really, as far as I can remember, the same with Boba Fett as well, was really officially confirmed in advance. But here, Lucasfilm, this week, wasn't it? Yeah, March 29th, basically dropped the biggest reveal bomb of all time for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We have, we'll talk about this. I'm sure it's not the full cast, but we have got a few confirmations of returning cast members that we didn't know about already. And we also have a load of new names. Some were rumored, some probably surprising because I don't know, they weren't rumored and maybe you never thought about them in a Star Wars way, but also some I hadn't heard of before, not gonna lie. So First of all, we'll talk about these actors and the castings individually in a moment, and same in the chat, everybody as well. Were you surprised by this move from Lucasfilm to just tell everybody straight out of the gate, this is who's in it?
Yes and no. Yes, because Lucasfilm don't usually just do a bomb like this. But no, for the exact reason you've just said, is Mandalorian Season 2, though these people weren't confirmed till we saw them live on screen or on live action, we all knew that Ahsoka Tano was heavily rumoured. Boba Fett, Cobb Vanth from the books was rumoured to be in. He turns up in episode 1. So I think this may be a way of Lucasfilm just beating people to the punch, because it sounds odd to say maybe they knew that some of these were going to leak ahead of time. So in order to preserve the surprise, they decided to give it to us. And the fact that they dropped 12 in one go, or 10 new ones in one go, that's great.
Yeah,
what about you, Luke?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it does seem a little left field to just announce the whole cast. You know, I was surprised when they announced Hayden Christensen, to be honest. But they did it. And I'm glad they did, because like Matty Boy said, there were a lot of rumors going around for Mandalorian, and pretty much all of them were right. And leading up to Mandalorian Season 2, I was thinking, there's going to be a couple of these that aren't right. Surely. They were all right. I think that the biggest one was they said Boba Fett was going to be in it. Tamara Morrison was going to be in it. But also, you're going to get, who did you just say? Cobb Vanth.
Yep.
Right? And in my head, I was thinking, well, both of those characters have that armor or are going to have that armor. So surely one of them is going to be false. Now we know, with hindsight, they were both right. So I do think this is just really Lucasfilm getting the attention as opposed to letting someone leak it, because I think this would have been leaked quite soon, especially the Hayden one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is quite rare in this internet age where the owner of a property actually gets to break their own news. So I think that's a good point, beating the scoopers or what have you to the punch. Mr. J86, by the way, I can see a lot of chat that is very relevant to me. I think Sidge started the discussion. I can see a lot of chat about the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch, whether you need to watch the Clone Wars before seeing the Bad Batch. That is a situation I'm in right now, and we're going to talk about that a little later on as well. But I can see a lot of discussion about that. But going back to Kenobi, Mr. J86 says here, seems like a much bigger cast for what I thought the show would be. Interesting to see where it goes. Now, like I said, we're going to go individually into the announcements in a moment, but does it feel like a big cast to you guys? Do you think this is it, or do you think there might be some surprises down the line for us?
I can think of one person whose name isn't on this list. He's an Irishman who didn't make it through the Phantom Menace. Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn is who I'm thinking. If it would make perfect sense to drop Qui-Gon in, who wouldn't want to see or hear Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn? As for we knew Hayden was coming back, and there was rumors that Joel and Bonnie were coming back. But for what is this, a 4-episode miniseries? It's like a mini event.
I think it's 6. I could be wrong, but I think it's 6.
It seems to be a fairly sizable cast, and this is just the named actors that we know of. Who's to say that we're not going to get some cameos dropping in, or some sort of tertiary characters have more to say in the story? Some of the names, however, make me wonder if they're going to have bigger roles. But I think it's a meaty looking cast. It's bigger than I would have expected them to drop at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd echo that. It's especially for the size of the series, it just seems like I suppose with Joel Edgerton and Bonnie, that's how I'm going to pronounce it.
Close enough.
That's Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, right? From the prequels. I'm happy with that. I think that's a great shout. There was a lot of speculation about that, but it kind of seems like a given. So for them to come out and confirm it, that's great. But everyone else, I don't know. It does seem like a real hodgepodge of people, and they all, to me, they seem like goodies. a lot of these guys. I'm struggling, maybe apart from Rupert Friend. I mean, look at that image, right?
Yeah, he's
a
no
bad boy Imperial.
He's no friend of Kenobi's.
He's no friend. He's no friend. But other than that, I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, who else could be a baddie? I don't know. Is someone going to be a bounty hunter? But really, the highlight is that we have Han from Tokyo Drift. Let's be honest. Yeah, let's be honest. That's just the best thing in the world.
Yeah, no, there's definitely, I mean, the whole drop was a surprise, and there are some surprises within the whole drop surprise. Yeah, I agree with the, and I see Chad as well has agreed, and Peter's definitely up for it. Liam Neeson, I think that has to happen because, I mean, if this is a big cast, maybe, but for a short season. But then again, you know, maybe a lot of these kind of characters will only appear in one episode. Maybe it'll be sort of the kind of Mandalorian side questy type, you know, vibe. Who knows? Obviously, some of them will reappear throughout. I'm thinking Obi-Wan Kenobi, for example, should be a regular fixture in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. But Liam Neeson, you know, I think we're all pretty sure this is going to be fairly flashback heavy. And Liam Neeson, you know, could he be there in the flesh as a flashback, or could he appear as a Force ghost or a Force voice? Because somebody in the chat a few weeks ago, when we were talking about something to do with this, mentioned that he wouldn't have the ability to come back in physical Force ghost form at this point. He'd only be a severed voice,
disembodied voice somewhere in the Tatooine sands.
Yeah. I think that's definitely possible because, again, I'm not sure where you are on Clone Wars, Jamie, but have you seen the episode where Qui-Gon is a Force voice?
Well, also you hear but also you hear we hear his voice in the Rise of Skywalker, but then we only hear voices in the Rise of Skywalker.
He's back.
But
I want to see him in person.
Does he ever appear as a Force ghost physically?
I think he does.
I think he does.
I think in the final seasons,
At first, it's a voice, and it's like these glowing particles, where he's obviously maybe learning to be a Force ghost. But he is. I think the canon basically explains that he is the first one to figure that out, probably in a long time. And yeah, he basically teaches Yoda. Says, look, this is a shortcut. I've just spent, you know, whatever it is, 15 years trying to become a Force ghost. It's taken ages. Here's the manual, Yoda. Then Yoda kind of gives that manual to Obi-Wan at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, I think that's going to be kind of your Luke Skywalker Mandalorian season 2 equivalent. I think we'll get Master Qui-Gon back, but they might do it just straight from the get-go. Don't know. I
think Glenn's talking. I guess Glenn's talking about in the chat here, talking about Liam Neeson, well, Qui-Gon appearing. So was this Rebels? Did he appear in Rebels as a projection to Ezra? Is that what Glenn's saying here?
Yoda was in Rebels as a projection.
Okay, maybe he's talking about Rebels because Glenn is also he was talking about Yoda. Yoda is Glenn's tip to show up in Kenobi, which would kind of make sense. You would have thought they would have kept in touch, you know, whilst they're both separated and in hiding in different parts of the galaxy. So yeah, I don't think that can be ruled out. There's a lot of chat about Jar Jar and Ahmed. I can see Dale asking, will they be reunited? I did ask Ahmed about this like a year ago now. It's the start of lockdown 1. Here we are at the end of lockdown 3. And, you know, he was sort of like, if the role is interesting, of course, I'd do it. But I can't imagine it will happen. And I believe on Twitter, someone asked him recently and he ruled it out. But then if it's not announced, he's got to rule it out. Whilst I don't think it's likely to happen, just because he's ruled out on Twitter doesn't mean it's completely, you know, impossible.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at the story reasons. Look, we love Ahmed, and when we asked him the same, and he said the same. Look, if there's a reason for Jar Jar to come back, I'll come back, man. I'm at a time in my life now where I'm comfortable enough for that, which is great news for Ahmed. But the big question is, like, why would Jar Jar be in this series other than, oh, cool, look, Jar Jar's back. Yoda I can see, and Yoda's one I'm not hearing much about, and that makes a lot of sense. I haven't really seen anyone talking about Yoda. They're talking about Qui-Gon a lot, and Jar Jar, which is odd. But yeah, you have to kind of ask yourself, why would we be seeing Jar Jar? Because after the rise of the Emperor, he was basically banished, and his own people didn't want him. So I can't imagine him wanting to go to Tatooine to hang about too much.
I don't know. It's a funny one. Here's a cheeky question for you guys. Do you think there's going to be any aging technology in this? Because you're talking about flashbacks and we're talking about Force ghosts and stuff. Do you think they will? Because Hayden Christensen's in it, yeah. But I don't think they're not going to get Hayden back just to be in a Darth Vader suit and bowl it round like with his red lightsaber. It's not going to happen. But what I could see is that definitely the flashbacks, and I think we're all in agreement on that. But do you think is it just going to be makeup, or do you think they're going to try and just de-age him a smidge?
They're going to give him a dodgy wig to match his 2005 mullet.
Well, that's it. That's another thing as well, right? Yeah.
I mean, Hayden looks pretty good. He's aging very well. I think there's he is hunky. I think there's I think either way they do it, it will still stand out because our minds already know that this isn't this isn't right. Whether they've been de-aged or whether they're actually looking older than they did in the time period where they currently are in the flashback. But I don't know. I kind of think of El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie with I can't remember the actor's name, but who plays Todd, who had really put on a lot of weight, and he was really there in flashback form. Of course, he dies spoilers here. He dies at the end of Breaking Bad, and he only appears in flashback form, and he's put on a lot of weight since filming Breaking Bad, and it just it still completely works because once you get used to it, you get about it and you move on. But it still does stick out like a chubby sore thumb, I guess. So I think either direction they go, it's going to stick out to people. It's but we forgive it and we move on. It's like the Luke Skywalker cameo in The Mandalorian. Yeah, wonky CGI, but you quickly dismiss that and continue to be caught up in the moment. And also when you go back and reflect on it and start to maybe see the cracks a bit more with the technology, we know that they can always update that episode on Disney Plus as the technology improves. I don't know which way they'll go. I don't know if I have a preference, to be honest.
I always prefer if they can do it actually on camera. If there's a way they can make it work on camera, whether that is having Hayden, we'll know. If Hayden shows up with longer hair, then they're more than likely going to go for that route, but they can still de-age and just have him with his mullet. I don't know. I agree with Lukey Boy as well. You're not going to have Hayden turn up just to put him in the helmet and not show him. So they're definitely showing his face. To what extent? Who knows? Is it going to be the duel of what did Kathy Kennedy call it? The rematch of the century. You don't get Goosebumps star Hayden Christensen back and not show his face. You're gonna get him back and you're gonna show his face. I think they might use a bit of the technology now that it's there. I think most companies, especially Disney, are going to use every bit of technology they can to enhance their product. So if they do, great. And I'm not going to say as long as it looks good, because like you say, there's always that bit in the back of your mind I know that isn't 2005 Hayden, but as long as they can make it look pretty damn good, then I'm happy with that if they do go that way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that we'll see Hayden's face, certainly in flashback form, but maybe even, I don't know how much time we'll spend with present day or real time Darth Vader, if you like. But of course, you might get some moments with him in his chamber with the helmet off, perhaps, and we'll see in that case, they don't need to worry about de-aging him. They're going to be they're going to be mutating him, if anything, aren't they, with his severed not severed but savaged face. I saw Glenn does think that they will do some de-aging on both Hayden and Ewan. I mean, I don't know if I have a preference. I mean, either way, like I said before, I think it's going to stand out a bit, but we expect that. Let's take a look at these. Let's go through these individually because I'm just keeping an eye on time for you guys, Matt and Luke. I will stay on longer if because the chat's popping, as they say. Do they say? Am I down with the kids?
Well, even if they don't, they do now.
They do now.
Yeah.
So let's just take a look at this. So I've got the screen up. I might zoom in, but I might not. Let's just keep you on your toes for now. The first two we've really discussed already. No surprises there. I mean, the main surprise, I have to say, and to be honest, after months and months of struggling to keep this a secret, I'm just glad that the surprise is out now and that I can finally confirm that I am not in this series. So I was relieved when Lucasfilm finally posted this. But we know the first two; they're not surprises. Now we've got Moses Ingram on the right of Hayden. There, American actor and writer. She's been in the Queen's Gambit on Netflix, and I had a Instagram post of hers brought to my attention by someone on Twitter. And she said something like, I haven't got it here actually, but she said something like, I'm sorry, Chad. I'm sorry. We're not doing another 30-minute show. And of course, it's only natural that I have to blame you, Chad, the stopwatch, Campbell. She said something about, I play with lightsabers was the caption. So people have been speculating about her role and whether she might be also used in flashbacks, perhaps, because she says lightsabers, perhaps as a young Ahsoka. What's your take on that?
Oh, Brian Walker likes that.
Yeah, I heard that as well. I heard the young Ahsoka theory too. That would be mental because basically what we're getting is flashbacks to the Clone Wars. That's it. We're just going to see live action Clone Wars. I'm not sure. I think that might be a bit of a stretch, and I think Lucasfilm might be a little wary of that just because they've cast us Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka in Mandalorian and the Ahsoka TV show. And I think they're going to look back at when they did Harrison Ford as Han Solo in The Force Awakens. Then only a few years later, they had Solo, a Star Wars story. And, you know, you could look at that any way you want, really. And there's a lot of details and a lot of variables that go into that information. But I think they're going to look at that and go, do you know what? That's a no-go because that's confusion. That's brain confusion. I think if she's going to feature in the flashbacks, I think she could be maybe a baddie, a Sith, I don't know, like an assassin type person who Ewan and Hayden have to take down. I don't know. It's a hard one.
Yeah, I was when I first saw the post, my mind immediately thought, oh, she's referring to the fact that she's not playing with like kings and queens and rooks and pawns anymore. She's playing with lightsabers. That's how I took it. But seeing how excited everyone's getting for the fact that she could be like a younger Ahsoka or just hopefully her own character, that now I kind of hope we are going to get some lightsaber action somehow. But, and I mentioned the rematch of the century, whether that happens, but I took it as her just saying, look at me. Now it's confirmed. I'm a lightsaber kind of girl now. But never say never. I think that goes with everyone, but never say never that she could be a younger Ahsoka.
Yeah, and you know, we also don't know how much of a Star Wars fan she really is. And you know, if you're like a casual Star Wars fan, follower, whatever, lightsabers is a pretty easy thing just to throw out there. You know, I think what Star Wars fans do is read into pretty much everything, and there's no problem with that. Glenn, we are talking about the actor you can see on the right of Hayden, Moses Ingram. That's who we're talking about in a moment. We're going to go through a few more on this list just to bring up a bit of now. Who said it first? I can see Ventress mentioned. But who said it first?
I saw that. Who
said it first? Tristan said it first. There we go.
That would be mental if it was
naughty
Ventress.
Boy. That's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Matty boy. Honestly, Matty boy loves it
because you don't. Because you think as soon as you said Ahsoka, I was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, they could get her in as Yo. But now that, because we know they've got that history. And why? And like you said, they've got Rosario in as Ahsoka. And they've made quite rightly a big deal of the fact that she's there and she's great. But Ventress, man, she's a big deal in the Clone Wars. And her story arc is great. Man, just looking at the people commenting, who doesn't want to see Ventress in a flashback form? That would be great to tie that in.
Yeah. I can see Sidge here talking about or suggesting possibly a Sith Inquisitor. Obviously a possibility as well. I had a theory as to that with Andrea Varma, who we'll come on to in a moment. But we talked about that a few weeks ago, I think, on the stream when she was rumoured to be involved. Or was it confirmed? I can't remember.
She was confirmed first, I think.
Was she officially confirmed a while back? Okay.
I think
we were
so,
actually talking about concrete news for once, as opposed to rumours. Wow. Chad, by the way, I saw your message about Godzilla. I will talk about that a little bit later on. Be good to know what you thought of it as well. I'll find that message that you posted, but let's crack on through this list. And someone else to keep in mind, Simon has suggested or has said that Palpatine has a wife, presumably an evil wife too. So maybe Moses could be the wife, or another lady that we're going to look at in a few moments. So let's just get through this list, because it is 6:30 already, and the sessions need to go at 6:45. So we don't need to talk about Owen and Aunt Beru, but we're all happy that they're back, and also probably not surprised. Now, I always struggle with his name, Kamal Nanjiani. Now, I mean, he does a bit of everything, really, doesn't he? And I guess he's best known for comedy. Do you therefore think he will be playing a comedy character?
There's the chance he'll play a droid, maybe? A droid voice?
That's a shout.
Yeah, good shout.
That's a shout. I think he's going to play Kidster.
Really?
Yeah. Lil Lenny's best mate.
You don't think he made it off Tatooine?
No,
you think
mate.
he's still there?
He's chilling, man. He's chilling. He's just around Mos Espa. And that's what. Oh yeah, I remember an Anakin. How is he? Obi-Wan's like, well, not great. I don't know.
Yeah. Which part?
Maybe.
Yeah, Kumail's a big boy now as well, because he's in the Eternals at the end of the year.
There's a few comments here about him being ripped now. And Glenn also has a theory. Glenn's asking, could he be Quinlan Voss?
Could be. As soon as I saw Kumail, he was the first one that stood out, because he is, other than Joel and someone like O'Shea Jackson, Kumail's the big name on this list for me. And I was trying to rack my brains, and the first thing I thought was, he's got that comedic tone. The droids so far seem to be quite... They're always going for a certain angle with the droids now, whether it's someone like K2 or L3. They've got this sardonic tone, and they go for comedy. Kumail would smash that, destroy that, I think. But they could throw a curveball and have him be someone completely different, like Kitster. And if that's Kitster, then, shout out to Deborah Chow for putting Kitster in. But I reckon he's going to be a droid.
You're not giving up on the Kitster shout, are you? But a droid. I think a droid. I haven't thought about this before, actually, but I think a droid makes the most sense from a speculative, kind of safe money point of view. I think if you're going to go, crazy with your views and your money, then go Kitster. Fine. Right. Let's move through the list. So we're with Andrea Varma. So she was not a surprise. She was confirmed previously. And I remember a while back when we were talking about her on the stream being involved, some were thinking maybe a love interest of Obi-Wan's, perhaps in flashback form, as opposed to in real time. But now we have more female cast members. I think at the time she was the only one female cast member we knew about. So that was why that suggestion came up. That suggestion could still stand. You guys let me know. I was thinking more bad person. Look at those cheekbones, Inquisitor, someone.
Look at her next to Rupert. Look, the two of them look bad together. Look at them. They've got their eyes. They're not happy. It's almost like they've just seen Kenobi and they're like, I ain't having this. So, I think she'll either be the kind of Kira type where you think, oh, she's great, and then has a turn at the end or at some point, or she's just going to be bad to the bone. She has Inquisitor vibes to her.
Bad to the cheekbones.
Yeah, still those cheekbones. I wouldn't know what they are anymore, but she's got them.
She is. You all know her from Game of Thrones, and also her Star Wars connection, I suppose, comes from Game of Thrones because she's pretty close to old Pedro in Game of Thrones. Very close. Yeah, in the series, yes. Yeah, fictionally. Fictional.
Pedro's wife in the series.
Luke, what do you think?
Yeah, long story short, I agree. Looks like a baddie. She looks like a baddie. Don't know if it'll be a love interest. I can't see. I don't know. It's a hard one because I'm trying to figure out. Right, I'll be honest with you. It goes Obi-Wan and Anakin, two main guys at the top left. Is there an order to where they've put everyone? Because I think there is, especially that you've got Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen just there, and I don't know. So I think she's going to be a baddie. I think she's maybe going to be either a bounty hunter or an Imperial, if I'm being really realistic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think baddie. And Two Tolls in the chat brings us over to Rupert Friend, who I think we all agree is not going to be a friend of Obi-Wan. Now, Two Tolls is thinking perhaps maybe he could be a young Tarkin or something.
Ooh, that's a shame. But then, yeah, because they could have got Guy Henry back and to do that, do his CGI, but he could be, or he could be a Tarkin's friend, maybe. But
didn't they have a guy on Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, there was
someone. Yeah,
I don't know his name, but it was an actor. You know, I think with some heavy makeup and what have you. But
Wayne something.
I to be honest, I feel like I don't know how much of a big deal continuity is. You know, when it comes to these decisions, because obviously with the CGI, I imagine there's time and money that comes into the thinking. But I personally don't want a third. Well, what would it be? A fourth Tarkin? So we've got the Tarkin actor in Revenge of the Sith. Of course, we have the OG. We have CGI with Guy Henry, as you mentioned, and now if we have Rupert Friend, I just think that's a few too many Tarkins. So I would prefer if Tarkin's going to be in it. And you know, it's already been said that it looks like a big cast. So if Tarkin's in it, in addition to what we're seeing here, then it's becoming an even bigger cast, along with perhaps Ahmed, perhaps Liam Neeson as well. I don't know if they are going to use Tarkin, I would prefer that they now continue the CGI route.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of these people, other than the ones you've mentioned, obviously Ewan and Hayden for sure, but Joel and Bonnie, I'd like everybody else, where possible, to be new characters as much as possible, because Luke knows I love a bit of lore, I love a bit of world building, I love having new characters of which they can then spin off or build off comics, books, stories, or in another live action series with. So I would, if Rupert was a young Tarkin, great, but it is a phrase oft used now, but it does shrink things a little bit if you suddenly got Tarkin showing up alongside possibly other people, because the Imperials, the thing about the Empire was they're massive. There's a lot of them. So I'd like to see him be a new character, so one that we can be like, God, do you see that Rupert geezer on Kenobi and whatever his character's called? He's bad. He's bad to the bone.
Yeah, we don't need to keep seeing characters we know already, you know, especially when, you know, the original actor is not alive, you know, unless it's really essential for the story. I would be happy not to see Tarkin, who is a character I really like. And Mr. J86 has said that Tarkin is rumored for Andor, and also his shout is that they'll stick with Guy Henry. Of course, he would fit into the Andor timeline. Let's just fly through these last few before the sessions need to terminate this session. And we've got O'Shea Jackson Jr., son of Ice Cube, no less. And he actually, I think he played his dad in Straight Outta Compton.
He did.
Didn't he? Yeah. He did, so this is not his first acting experience. Where is he? Where's he?
Left a bit.
Where is he? Whoa. There he is.
There he is. Look at him.
There
what
he
a
is.
ledge.
What a
there
hunk.
he is. We got him. So also moving through, we've got Sung Kang, who I can't remember if it was Matt or Luke, but you were very excited to have Han Lu from the Fast and the Furious never-ending story involved.
My favorite thing from Fast and Furious, probably from the whole franchise, is Han just in the corner eating what appears to be just hula hoops the whole time. It's the dream, and if he gets to do that again in Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll be a happy Star Wars bunny.
Wow. Yep, I agree with that. O'Shea, I'm looking forward to seeing O'Shea. O'Shea's a decent actor. He's good in Straight Outta Compton. Godzilla King of the Monsters, and nobody really gets a pass for that, but he was great in this little film called Ingrid Goes West. He's really got the chops, this dude has. So I'm really excited, Kumail aside, to see what O'Shea brings, because I think he's a talented guy.
And what about Simone Kessel? Because I have to admit, I did not know. I know who she is, but I still don't know much about her.
No idea.
I mean, we're talking about love interests. If there's going to be a love interest, I think it'll be this lady.
Kessel Run.
Yeah. Oh, Kessel Run.
Kessel
Simone
Run,
Kessel
yeah.
Run.
That's it.
That's what I reckon. Yeah. I don't know. I think she has more of that look
her.
about her. But if that is indeed the case, but again, these could be just very minor characters who, I don't know, work behind a cantina or work behind a shop that Kenobi goes to get his bevies from, because there's not much else to do in Tatooine. Plus, sun, booze, it's going to age him, isn't it? So that's what I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we've got Benny Saftey, who's one half of the Saftey brothers, and he's, I suppose, better known for writing and directing, a filmmaker, really. But he is there, so it's not his first acting credit, but there he is. What do you think to Benny Saftey's involvement?
Interesting. He was in Good Time with old Bobby Pattinson, old Batman, and he was also in this film called Pieces of Woman that came out this year, which was decent. He's good, and he's a great writer with his brother as well. They're really good writers. They're really kind of gritty, raw filmmakers. He also wrote and directed Uncut Gems, I believe, as well. It's another interesting one because he is better known for, the Saftey brothers. But, what's he going to bring to the party? I don't know. If he's got any hand in writing, it's going to go places, that's for sure. But that one kind of came out of the blue. Some of the ones I hadn't heard of, like Simone Kessel. But Benny Saftey, I've heard of him, and that was kind of like never would have thought about that in a million years, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be involved, certainly from a directing point of view anyway, as Mr. J86 has said here as well. Mr. J86 said Saftey could be a bit character and maybe direct an episode. Not sure if Deborah Chow is directing every episode or not. I was under the impression that she was or is directing every episode, but I don't know that, as gospel or anything, but I was under the impression that she is. Because I suppose if this really is a one-off, series and a short one-off series, I suppose you probably want that continuity and consistency of having the same director involved per episode, but I don't know that for sure, and he might have a hand behind the scenes in terms of writing.
Nice
guys, you've got to go in a minute, so I'm going to stay on, and we're going to go back to the start of this chat where there was discussion about the Bad Batch and how it ties into the Clone Wars. But you've seen the trailer, obviously. You both are well up to date with the Clone Wars, so what did that trailer mean to you both? Start with Matt.
I liked it. I've been slowly getting more and more excited for the Bad Batch. When it first dropped, I was just a bit like, oh goody, the Bad Batch. But now, the more that's coming out, it looks pretty good. And some of the things we're getting in there look great. So I'm pumped, more again, for that world building. Characters we've seen before from the Mando are coming back. We're seeing Dark Troopers. You mentioned Tarkin. Well, he's going to be in a Bad Batch. We're going to get our fix from that. Saw Gerrera's there. It's set after Revenge of the Sith, so it's clones after Order 66. Why does Tarkin want them gone? Is it just because they're a bit naughty? What is going on with that? So I'm more and more excited. And now we've only got, a month to go? I'm on board with this, more so than I thought I would be.
Mr. J86 has revealed that he was toying with us, but Book of Boba
is not
Falls, delayed. Well, we're on there. We're live. We don't know. Anything could happen in that split moment where I click go live. Because I do always Google just before coming on to see if anything major that I actually understand has happened. Luke, you got to go. So as quick as you can. What about the Bad Batch trailer for you?
Jamie, I am really excited. Just like Matt, I was a bit lukewarm, if you pardon the pun, on this when it was announced. But now I'm thinking it's going to explore a bit of the Star Wars canon that we've actually not seen much of. The transition of what happens to the clones after the Clone Wars. Are they all going to just be pushed to the side? Are they going to get killed off by the Imperials? And I think we're going to look into this. And I think Tarkin in that trailer was looking at the Bad Batch and saying, right, could these guys, because these are different to the normal clones, could we use these guys to start, getting rid of our problem with a lot of clone troopers? That's what I think. I'm really, really excited for this, Jamie. I mean, look at that poster, man.
Yeah,
this is a cartoon show.
Dude.
It's a cartoon show. Look how gorgeous that poster is. I'm
It is
excited.
a beautiful poster.
Yeah.
Sige and Simon have thanked you both for joining. They're the only two who have thanked you. The others are just thankful that you're leaving. I think.
Thanks to everyone.
But no, thank you to you both. I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes to talk a bit more about the Bad Batch and talk to, I'm seeking answers here. I have questions and I hope in the chat you have answers for me. But Luke and Matt from Star Wars Sessions podcast, as mentioned already, all of the links to your work are linked in the video description if you're watching on replay or live now. Go and check them out. Give them a sub on YouTube or Instagram, Twitter, and all that. Oh, Matthews, Tutos has said thank you to you. Matty Stokes has said cheers to you both as well. So
thanks.
yeah, there's a lot of appreciation for the session. So keep up the great work on the podcast, and we'll have you back on the channel soon, I am sure.
Cheers, Sammy.
Cheers. This is the point where I have to remove you. I have to terminate you from the stream. Goodbye, Matt.
See you, Jamie.
Goodbye, Luke. Thank you once again to Star Wars Sessions. Nikolaki's here as well. And Peter thanking them too. They do great work. They do great work. So if you haven't already, go and check out their podcast. Some interesting themes and guests as well that they cover. So it's you and I, like the old days. Now I know there was a lot of chat at the start of the stream, and I'm sorry, Chad. I know once again we are edging ever closer to yet another 1 hour stream, which is double the amount you're meant to help me deliver. But anyway, there's still 22 people here, so I will carry on. What about the Bad Batch? So I'm in the Discord. I asked the question because I'm working my way through the Clone Wars. Say this every week, don't I? But I am, and now I've really got a bit of a race against time to catch up in time for the Bad Batch. May the 4th is when it starts, and apparently a 70-minute episode to launch with. That's big. We were complaining that the Mandalorian was too short at times. Hopefully we won't be complaining that the Bad Batch is too long. But the thing that surprised me or confused me in the trailer was, and I am easily confused as you know by now, when someone said the Clone Wars are over, I always assumed that the Clone Wars series, and I know this is a sequel to the Clone Wars, if you like, but it still comes under the Clone Wars umbrella, yeah? And I assumed it would lead right into the start of Revenge of the Sith. Therefore, the Clone Wars would still be going, just about. So that kind of confused me. But then Brad on the Discord, the Geeknd Discord, he told me that this takes place after Order 66. So I find the whole thing very intriguing, but still confusing. And I think Sige asked a question earlier on about whether you do need to be up to date with the Clone Wars I'm sure you can still enjoy the Bad Batch, but to understand the Bad Batch. So be good to know what you guys think to that. We did sort of touch on this a few weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, I am going to be up to date, but yeah. Who's the girl as well? I saw Chad mention the young girl in this. Is she a brand new character, or am I going to meet her towards the end of the Clone Wars? Who is she? Someone explain this thing to me. As spoiler free for the Clone Wars as you possibly can. Someone help me. Here's Glenn with, by the way, if you posted something earlier on that I missed, I was doing some serious multitasking, trying to chat with people and keep an eye on the electronic chat also with people. So if I missed anything, copy and paste it back in if it's important. So this is Glenn's prediction. My prediction is that the Bad Batch will find that they are split within at some point. One remaining loyal to the new empire, the rest rejecting what they are seeing it does and stands for. And hang on, lost the chat. Where's it gone? Where's the chat gone? Simon Drake. In regards to the longer episode, it's an Easter treat. A miracle, you might say. Yeah, happy Easter, everybody. I kind of forgot it was Easter, but it is Easter apparently. So happy Easter, everybody. Okay, Chad is imagining the epic start to the Bad Batch is the first 3 episodes combined, similar to how Clone Wars debuted by just combining their first 4 episodes and throwing it in theaters. Oh, was that the film? Was that the... Yeah. See, I think that's... If you're talking about the film that came out in cinemas before the series started, I assume you are. That's probably what put me off the Clone Wars series, and that's probably why I'm still behind, because I'm really looking forward to Clone Wars season 7. Matty Stokes has brought up in the chat. I am really looking forward to that. I did find the first 1, 2, maybe 3 seasons. I watched all the episodes, so I did find it a bit of a slog and a bit of a chore at times, but I found it was becoming easier. It has been becoming easier the more I've got into it, and I've just heard so much good things about season 7. I'm looking forward to getting there. Part of me just wants to skip to there, but I'm being disciplined. I'm going to watch every single one of them, and I will post a video that's been how many years in the making of my thoughts of the Clone Wars before the Bad Batch begins. In regards to the girl, is she a Django clone? I don't know who she is. I don't know anything. I am the Jon Snow of the Clone Wars. I've only seen season 1. This is Philip Hawkins. He's only seen season 1 of Clone Wars. I'm ahead of you. I'm ahead of someone. So don't think I'll be watching this when it comes out, but will do eventually. Yeah, I don't think... I mean, Star Wars has been so quiet recently. The Geeknd Live, generally, I mix and I mix the stories up a bit anyway. It's not just Star Wars, but I always try and include a Star Wars story, and I've really struggled the last few weeks. But this week we kind of got spoiled. So we've been starved for Star Wars solid news and content since The Mandalorian. Because these days we're spoiled. We went decades without anything, and now we get sweaty withdrawal symptoms when we go 6 months or something without. I don't think there'll be the same urgency with this with all the fans as there was with The Mandalorian. So I think this will probably be something that some fans do take their time with, and probably if I wasn't doing this and wanting to keep up the conversation with you guys, it might probably be the kind of thing I would have waited a little bit to see. But no, that poster, I love that poster. As Matt and Luke said, it is a thing of beauty. Chad, besides the original Droids and Ewoks TV shows, I have watched everything Star Wars released. Well, you can now watch the Ewoks shows, can't you? They're now on Disney Plus, or they're about to come on Disney Plus, like in days, I believe. Sorry, little burp there, little moment of human nature. I apologize if you heard it. Now, Chad, before I forget, I saw you posted something about Godzilla Kong. I think it came out in the States like yesterday or the day before. It only came out in the UK today. Theaters, cinemas aren't open, so we only had the renting option. I think it's available to rent. It's not on an existing streaming platform. So I haven't yet, but I'm going to watch it and will share my thoughts on next week's show. But it'd be good to know what you thought of it. Spoiler free, if possible. Just tell me that they fight. As long as there's a big dumb fight, I will be there. I will part with my Queen's English pounds to watch it. Matty Stokes, in regards to the mystery girl in the Bad Batch trailer, she appears to be a clone I know it's Kaminoonian. It's one of these words. Kaminoonian. Camionian. Anyway, she's new to the story. Okay, so she's new to the story, so I won't come across her in the Clone Wars. So it looks like, looking at some of these messages, that she's creating some confusion and debate as to who she is, what her origins are. Okay, so I could skip to season 7 of Clone Wars and be good for the Bad Batch. But no, I am going to stay strong. Okay, Chad has reported back in regards to Godzilla Kong. So if you're not in the US of A, you probably haven't seen it yet. And this is Chad's review on screen now. If you are listening, I will read it for you. It's an awful movie and intro. I suggest watching it in... Oh, hang on a second. This isn't about Godzilla Kong. This is about something else. You're talking about the Clone Wars movie, aren't you? Okay, yeah. Which is awful. I have seen that. It is awful. So we're still waiting. Sit back down, everybody. We're still waiting for Chad's review on Godzilla Kong. A Palps clone in regards to the girl from Glen there. Mr. J86 has heard a rumor that the blonde kid is a Force-sensitive clone of Django, but I'm not too big on that, to be honest. There's always a lot of rumors for Star Wars, and they can be fun. They can be fun, but they can also be dangerous if people start to believe them in terms of like, this has to happen. This is what I want, and therefore it has to happen. We have to manage our own expectations. And there always are so many rumors, but it's also part of the fun, isn't it? The debating. Okay, it wasn't about Godzilla Kong. Mr. J86 has seen Godzilla Kong, though, and I'm pleased to read here, says the best dumb fun movie I've seen in ages. That's all I want right now, some plain old dumb fun. That is all my pandemic-y, riddled body can take, or mind more like can take right now. Okay, here's the review. I missed it. All right. Chad watched it on IMAX last night. Spoiler-free. Here we go. Godzilla Kong, everybody. From Chad Campbell. Chad, the stopwatch Campbell. Yes, 57 and a half minutes later. For a supposed half-an-hour show, here I am reading his review. I watched it on IMAX last night. Spoiler free. Here you go. It's an enjoyable B movie. Don't expect intelligence. I wasn't. Or coherence. I wasn't. Or deep human relationships. I wasn't. It's monsters punching each other and does well. That's all I wanted. That's all I want. Big dumb fights. I don't need intelligence. Don't even know what it is. I don't need coherence or certainly deep human relationships. I need, if anything, deep, monster-based, angry relationships. That's all I need. So I'm pleased to read that, Chad. I'm pleased to hear that. I'll talk about that next week on the stream. But it sounds like Mr. J86 and Chad have pretty much confirmed that I will be parting with my Queen's English pounds to watch it on. However, you've got to watch it in the UK. Dumb fun for Glenn. The Geeky Hippie was Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, it was fun. I was disappointed with it overall, mostly because I did really enjoy the original, well, not the original, but the original Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot Wonder Woman movie. And yeah, but it was fun. I'll give you that. It was fun. Yes, exactly. From Simon there. Intelligence and coherence is what you come to expect from a Geeknd live. Certainly not from a multi-million pound dollar blockbuster movie. Scoots is here. Mr. McDinglebury is back in the house at the end of the stream. Thank you, everybody. Chad has spoken. Time is up. So thank you, everyone, for joining me. And thank you again to our live guests who joined us, Matt and Luke from Star Wars Sessions podcast. Please do go check them out. We're on YouTube at the moment. Nip over to their channel. They post some of their content, podcast content there. Some good angles on Star Wars, some good themes discussed as well. So we will talk next week, maybe some new Star Wars news. We will certainly talk about Godzilla Kong because more of us might have seen it by then, and that will include me. And also, I will be revealing on the YouTube community tab over the weekend who next week's These Are the Actors You're Looking For guest will be, because next Tuesday is the first Tuesday of the month, and you know what that is. That is These Are the Actors You're Looking For Day of the Month. So the Star Wars interview series will be back next week. But thank you, everybody. I'm just putting up messages now, just putting them all up. I don't even know what I'm putting up, but I'm putting them up. And thank you. We'll end on this. Thank God it's over. It is over, and we've gone over an hour. I'm sorry, Chad. And I will see you all next week. Take care. Stay safe.